Hello there guys, my name is Ben, and before the video gets started, just very briefly, to talk about my class setup. I'm using the B32R, using just the pistol throughout the gameplay, using the perks of Lightweight, Ghost, Toughness, which will be replaced by Scavenger at some point, and Engineer and Extreme Conditioning. It seems to be a lovely combination. The pistol is an amazing pistol, unless you run into multiple enemies, and then it is just all kinds of bad times for you, because you will not kill multiple enemies with just your pistol. So I want to talk about today's topic. It's quite a long topic, hence the fact that it is quite a long gameplay. So I'm going to be talking about the end of the world, which is supposedly going to happen in the next few days. I use the term supposedly. If you can see what I'm, the end of the world, I was doing in air quotes in my room, because it's not going to happen. It's quite plainly just not going to happen, and I shall we shall explore the reasons why it's not going to happen. First and foremost, we shall look at the Mayan Calendar. This is where a lot of people are basing their information from. They're basing their information on a calendar that was made many thousands of years ago, and it ended on a very specific date, in the next couple of days. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's ended then, the Mayans have predicted the end of the world. No, they didn't. They didn't, I'm afraid. I'm sorry if you believe that the Mayans predicted the end of the world. They didn't. It's tabloid journalism at its finest, and people not looking into things as in-depthly as they should to get the full facts. The Mayan calendar does end in the next couple of days, but they predicted in their text that there's going to be a massive earth-changing event. Now, there's nothing to suggest what it's going to be. It could be the cure for world hunger. It could be the cure for AIDS or cancer. It could be, I don't know. It could be the second coming of Jesus. I'm not even going to get into that because I sincerely don't think that would be the case either. But I shall put my religious opinions to one side, and that might be a video for another day. So no, the Mayan calendar does not predict the end of the world. It is just predicting a change. So, you can forget about, the whole Mayan theory. We shall now look at another possibility of how the world is going to end, which, as it stands, is quite probably the most likely to cause the end of the world in the next couple of days, which is the threat of nuclear war. Now, as it stands, the planet is in quite a good geopolitical situation, and I would highly doubt that nuclear war will suddenly erupt in the next 48 to 72 hours, but you never know. I think perhaps the most likely scenario is North Korea have obviously just launched their first satellite into orbit above the planet, which a lot of people believe is essentially a cover for testing a 3-stage missile system, which will allow them to send nuclear warheads many thousands of miles across the planet. But again, I think this is so massively unlikely that it doesn't even really bear thinking about, because it's so highly unlikely. The next option we shall explore is, so we've done nuclear war, what's the next one we shall go into? A meteor, a big bad meteor hitting the Earth, which is obviously kind of the most famous idea of the end of the world, due to many poorly acted films and very incorrect films factually. About how to explode a giant meteor. You don't drill a hole in it and then explode it. It doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. It would still cause irreparable damage to the planet. Well, I say irreparable. It would be fixed. It would just cause an incredible amount of damage, quite possibly as much as the meteor itself landing on the planet, or hitting the planet. It would land. It would hit the planet. But anyway, that's kind of by the by. So, every 15,000 years or so, a meteor or asteroid hits the Earth and causes a massive cataclysmic event that could be deemed as world-ending. I don't like the term world-ending, but I'll get into that in a minute. So the meteor hits every 15,000 years or so, and it's been about 15,000 years since the last meteor hit the Earth, and it's not going to happen in the next few days, because it would only be, a few million miles away from the planet at the minute, and people with just anyone with a telescope should be able to see it at this point in time, and it wouldn't be long before it would be clearly visible in the night sky, depending on how large it actually was. So again, that idea can be quite happily just put to bed and put to one side. And we shall move on to the next one, which is my personal favourite of all Doomsday scenarios, which is the eruption of a supervolcano. Obviously, the most famous supervolcano is the one at Yellowstone National Park, with a caldera that stretches, I believe, somewhere in the region of 25 to 50 kilometers squared. So that is huge. If you don't know what the caldera of a volcano is, it is the central point of where the eruption would happen, so where all the molten rock and lava would all come spewing out. If this happens, it would envelop the Earth. Plants would no longer be able to take part in photosynthesis, so the plants would die, the animals would therefore die, and we wouldn't be able to grow food, we wouldn't be able to eat the animals after they die out, and that would be a long drawn-out process for the end of the world, if you want to call it that. But I shall now talk about why I don't like the term the end of the world. If any of these events happen, the human population would be massively decreased, and even if the human population was to be made completely extinct, it would not be the end of the world. The world would carry on. The world wouldn't care less if we disappeared. In fact, the world would be quite happy if we disappeared, because let's face it, we've fucked it up royally. So the world would carry on. The world would recover, and it would go on. And the way the world is actually going to end, in case you're interested, is when the sun reaches the end of its life, it will no longer be fusing the elements that it is at the moment, which is helium and hydrogen, predominantly. It will start fusing the heavier elements, such as gold, maybe plutonium, I'm not sure, I don't know. Every element in the world is basically in our star and kind of eventually fuses together. And the sun will start to expand. It will remove any kind of atmosphere and ozone from the planet, and as the sun expands, it will actually envelop the planet, and the planet will just explode in this fiery rock of mess and will just become one with the sun. So that is how the world will actually end, and not through any of these misguided ideas of meteors and nuclear war. I think the only way a meteor could end the world is if it's a meteor the size of our planet, and it just destroyed it that way. But that is it. That's all I've got time for. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, please sub for more content to come, and give the video a thumbs up if you agree with me that the world isn't going to end in the next 48 hours. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.